Hey everyone, my name's Xavier, and welcome to Phoenix Point. After 5,000 hours playing XCOM 1 and XCOM 2, I am finally super excited to be playing not XCOM 1 or XCOM 2, but instead Phoenix Point, made by the very creator of XCOM, well, the original XCOM, that is. I have to say, I've had a lot of fun with this game. It hasn't even come out yet, and I've already put in 60 hours. So this campaign is going to be my typical zero-death Ironman Legend challenge, and also I'm going to try to save every single haven in the entire world. If that sounds interesting to you, well, then keep watching. Before we jump into the gameplay, let me just go over 3 things that really sell me on this game. The free aiming, body part disabling mechanic. They got a big gun that you don't want to get shot by? Blow off their arm, they'll drop it. They got a grenade launcher, you don't want to get hit by grenades? Destroy it. Problem solved. Also, the bullet penetration system. You got like a glass in your way and your melee guy can't get to where he needs to go? Have someone else shoot it out and he can run right through. Oh, but the best thing of all, the big guns have big penetration. What's that? A truck and 9 meters of concrete are between you and the enemy? Crash everything and crush your enemies. God, this is the game for me. You can even shoot through enemies into enemies. And lastly, I think the strategy map really warrants a mention here. It's a real-time simulation, which means you're constantly reacting to the world, rather than like in XCOM, where the world is constantly reacting to you. I just find that very immersive. And lastly, 2 notes before we jump into the game. The gameplay pacing can be a little slow at times, so we've taken a lot of time to edit and streamline the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Also, if you guys are going to pick the game up on the Epic Store, you can use our code Xwynns if you want to help support the channel and the creation of this series. And without further ado, let's jump right in. Legend difficulty. We're going to shut the tutorial off. The tutorial, if you leave it on for Legend, actually starts you off with considerably more resources after you go through the tutorial missions. So if you want the true Legend experience, make sure you shut it off.
The Phoenix Project was founded on October 24th, 1945. The Second War to end all wars was over, but there were those who understood that we could no longer afford to think in terms of nations and empires. For a time, the Phoenix Project successfully navigated the political conflicts of its era. That was our golden age. Phoenix Project operatives scoured the world for clues. We had bases in 24 countries. Even the heavens were not off limits. But out there, on the far side of the moon, began our downfall. The failure of the Phoenix 2 mission exposed us to our enemies in the UN. Stripped of resources and scattered to the winds, we were reduced to a secret, a memory. When the Pandora virus woke up, we should have been the first line of defense. When huge clouds of mist appeared over the sea, when people started vanishing, we should have figured out what was going on. And when those people started coming back, changed, hostile, alien, we should have been ready to fight, but we failed. The ecosystem started to change, imperceptibly at first, then faster and faster. 3 factions arose. New Jericho, trying to restore order and purity. Sanhedrin, hoping to build a world without hierarchies. And the disciples of Anu, a new syncretic religion dedicated to adaptation and biological change. At war with the world and at odds with each other, these factions cannot find a way forward. Now the mist is returning and armies are rising from the sea. Without the Phoenix Project, humanity will fall. It's time to rise from the ashes.
Ooh, that's exciting. It's very, very, very exciting to be playing a fully released, actual XCOM style game. Look at that. Is that the Aurora? That's pretty cool. I didn't notice that until just now. In any event, here's the world map. On the top, we can see our resources that we have available. Blue tech points for doing research, orange materials for manufacturing equipment, and green food points that we spend daily to feed the soldiers and recruit. Then we see how many production and research facilities we have across all of the Phoenix Point bases. And for now, we can only research atmosphere analysis, which will enable us to detect mist on the geoscape, showing us where the Pandorans are coming from. So we'll queue that up. On the top right, we have how many soldiers we currently have, which is 4, and how many we can total have, which is 8 until we build more living quarters. We have 0 out of 2 vehicles. Now, I personally won't be building vehicles in this run because I don't find them to be even remotely good. Interestingly enough, because a long time ago I thought they were super overpowered, about a year ago when I made the Backer Build 3 video. In any event, I'll be avoiding those this run. There's 1 out of 2 planes capacity right now, and 15 out of 200 storage spaces. So the cool thing about the planes is that's the next thing down here. The Manticore is what we have. It's a 6-seater plane with kind of average range and speed. Now, each of the 3 factions has their own style. I think they're called transports. I should just call them that instead of planes. In any event, each faction has their own transport, and they have different uses. So one faction has a 7-seater that's kind of slow, but you could bring a heavy assault squad to like a big mission. Or there's another faction who has a very fast transport, but it has only 5 slots. So that would be like a rapid reaction elite response crew that you could put into that one to go save a haven in the nick of time or some such. And not only that, you can actually steal these transports from other factions. When you see one on the map, you could fly it over and just yoink it. And it's actually on the actual physical map when you go to do the tactical ground mission too, which is really awesome. In any event, let's set up a couple of things before we start playing. Number 1 is base design. I'm going to go for 1 training facility here, which is 250 materials and 60 tech. Take 3 days to build. I want to build it right away. As soon as I get more materials, I'm going to build a second one of those. I found that to be by far the best starting avenue, because each one of these will give each one of your soldiers 2 experience per hour that they spend sitting in the base. If you have 2 of them, it's 4 experience. If you have 3 of them, it's 6 experience, etc. And you can actually train all the way to max level with these guys, which is incredibly amazing. After that, I'll probably do either a fabrication plant or a research lab. I was going to do both, but for whatever reason, we have a smaller base than normal. You can have more bases. The first base is by far the biggest jump in power, because then you can just fill it with fabrication plants and research labs and not have to worry about really ever having to deal with that again. The 3rd and 4th ones aren't nearly as strong, I don't think. In any events, here's our personnel. There's nothing really to gear up at the moment. Everyone's kind of fine the way they are. For the basic overview of the specs that I'm going to play through this game, we're going to ally with New Jericho, which is like a war-focused, like straight and direct fighting faction. So what they're going to give us is technicals that'll eventually have robot arms and the ability to heal and throw out turrets. I'm going to be comboing all of my heavies into snipers and all of my snipers into heavies for a very specific spec I'll explain later. I'll pick up as many berserkers as I can find and combo them with the assault class down here. But for the meantime, all of these assaults will just be like straight assaults. They're going to be kind of our recon, mostly our recon units. And that's it for my plans for this campaign, although I could very easily play another campaign that was focused on an entirely different strategy. I could ally with Synedrian and go for sneaky sneaks who use combat drones to scout stuff and run around, doing ambush damage, play the game in an entirely different manner. Or even the Disciples of Anu have like the priests, which have a lot of basically psionic abilities, mind control, all that sort of stuff. This campaign, though, we won't be using those 2 things very much. Actually, probably not at all. And lastly, I want to start moving towards Banshee helmet armor, leg armor, and body armor as soon as possible, as soon as I get that second base building built. Reason for this is these things give a 10 accuracy each, so a combined 30 accuracy, versus the heavy armor we have on right now, which is giving us negative 10 accuracy on each. And I really don't find this jump jet to be at all useful on the heavy class. Instead, I'll give that to a different class a little bit later, or possibly won't even use it at all, to be honest. And then this will bring us from negative 30 aim. Once we put our sniper gear on, we'll actually be at plus 30 aim, and then we can get some real use out of that hell cannon, which is otherwise just way too inaccurate to ever be useful with all this heavy gear. Anywho's, all those things being said, we need to do strategy. So my plan here is I want to move towards where I think the mist is going to be and then start an area scan. I assume here's the best place. This is also the furthest point away. Move over, area scan. So over time, this circle will fill up until it's about at the same range as this orange one. And then as it's doing that, it'll reveal these unexplored sites all over the place that we can then go and explore. After that's done, we can move on and do the next one. Or if I wanted to in the base, I could build a second uplink, satellite uplink. Each satellite uplink gives us the ability to run another area scan. So I could have one here and one over there and one over here, etc. Right now, I'm perfectly happy with just the one. So I'm going to take a minute to recolor and rename all of the characters. As always, the characters come from the Patreon pool. Those of you who are enjoying this series and want to see more of it and want to help support it, you can do so at the link in the description down below and get a chance to name your character while you're at it. And there we go. We have Orange Puriel, the heavy, soon-to-be heavy sniper. Cinnamon, the red-on blood red sniper, soon-to-be sniper heavy. Kiyosuke, the red on black assault. And Ali, the pink on white assault. I like this squad quite a bit, actually. In any event, let's explore. First scavenging site right out of the gate. All right. Well, so these scavenging sites sometimes can get a little repetitive. So for this first one, we'll show a decent amount of it. But in the future, you can pretty much expect most scavenging site battles to just be quick summaries. These are really small, just skirmishes. They're generally not the bigger, more difficult missions. So we'll concisely edit them up as much as we can. So that cutscene's kind of cool. It's a lot like the Skyranger one from XCOM. The difference is that the one in XCOM was there as a loading screen, whereas this one is actually just another cutscene you can skip. I wonder if they could make that into the loading screen. That would be really cool. In any event, our plans are pretty simple here. Take the high ground with Cinnamon. Whoa! Hello! I didn't expect to see you there. Really did not expect to see someone there. In any event, a couple of things about this mission before you charge out like a maniac. First, most of these you can't save. Like, they'll just be enemies that spawn literally next to them. They'll shoot them, they'll blow them up. There's not much you can do about it. And so what I found is usually just hang out and scout a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't do that this time. Fortunately, though, this guy is melee, so it won't matter too much this time.
Ready for action.
And the next thing about these missions is that at the very beginning of the game, they give you an idea of what you'll be fighting for the next few missions in that region. So what we have over here is an Arthron. This particular one has a carapace, it's got a shield, and it's got a melee claw. That's actually probably the easiest thing we can fight this early in the game. By the way, you can left-click on anything in the game, or any enemy and enemy friendly, and get all of their information. And then you can hover over things to see precisely what it is and what it does, which is fantastic. Do that with your own characters as well if you had forgotten and you want to see your gear, what everything is. All the abilities are listed on the right. Lastly, if you hold down the middle mouse button, boom, the camera flies up here into the air, and I highly recommend holding this down during the alien turn. Makes it much easier to see what they're doing and what they're up to. In any event, let's do a short-range Overwatch, like right here, because I'm sure that guy's going to charge through. I did make a minor mistake moving over here with Cinnamon, but I honestly just did not expect to see something that close. Always expect the unexpected in this game, though, so it's a smart move. Using the control button, you can increase and decrease the radius. You hold down control of your Overwatch, which is useful for pinpointing it exactly so you don't hit like your friendly characters. And then lastly, zoom. Come on, buddy. Okay. Yeah, he saw a package and he got excited. He's off. And the AI, I've noticed, does either they get really lucky or they seem to intentionally place themselves behind rocks when they're melee characters. Or even physical characters. Like, they're like, oh, if I move here, none of them can see me. So I'll move right there behind this rock, and then next turn I can get to go have some fun. At least that's what I imagine him saying. In any event, I really want to be all the way up here. Plus, for moving into this white zone... Oh, hello. What did we see? Ah, another guy way down there. He's going to go after that, and there's not too much I can do about it.
I'm here.
These guys are going to YOLO pretty hard on that,
What's our move?
since they're melee characters. They're going to YOLO on the resources, so we'll just charge out like maniacs. Now, I would highly recommend not doing this, depending on what enemies you have in the starting mission. You can have any number of different enemies in the starting mission. You might have, like, assault rifle guys, or these melee guys, or mind control guys. Looks like we got 100% melee guys. Yep, that's exactly what we got. Okay. Well, this unfortunately doesn't give us much option. However, I have an idea. Let's move Imperial over here, away from this flammable gas. Then we'll take this nice big weapon that can shoot right through things, and we'll be like, hey, guys! How's it going? Well, that worked. I don't even understand what just happened. Like, what damage was done to them? I thought I hit the first guy through the explodable thing, but alas, I also think we did some damage to our own gun. As far as I can tell, though, there's no way to see the hit points on your own gun, which is something I was wondering about before. In any event, well, that's the first shot of the campaign. We're off to a good start. Okay. I want to bait these guys towards us. Once they destroy this, they're going to move on after the other one. However, we're better off doing Overwatch, because then the shields won't be pointed directly at us. You can always do a narrow cone Overwatch down here.
Overwatching.
And there's no reason to even bother with cover, because they're all melee.
Providing Overwatch.
Yep, they destroyed it, and as predicted, they're moving towards this one. Shield down! And somehow we still managed to hit the shield every time. Ooh, cinnamon for elevation! All right. That was an interesting turn. So this guy's got 30 hit points. We'll have to shoot him at least once then to finish him. That's an easy shot.
Target down.
One thing I should mention, if you play this first mission and you get mind fraggers, that's one thing I've noticed I would play a little bit differently. Because the mind fraggers can come around corners, they can run pretty far and mind control your guys. So if you were to see them, I would stay grouped up, unlike what I'm doing now, and I would stay kind of in the open, like an area like this, and I would avoid corners where I can't see around them. And I would do that for probably the next several missions, because they would be in a lot of the missions in that area for a while. In any event, these guys are all melee. They're just going to tootle. Let's give them something to tootle towards. The heavies I've found are actually really not good early on. Like, they're incredibly bad. There's almost no use to their jump jets. Their cannon misses the broadside of a barn, so turning them into snipers or having them be scouts in the very first few missions is a half-useful way of getting some utility out of them.
On it.
Now, head has 10 armor. Does anything have 0 armor? I could have just checked beforehand. No, it all has 10. All right, well, boom.
That could have gone better.
Oh, there they are, the mind fraggers. All right, Maybe I should change my strategy a little bit then.
Hostile missed.
I am a little bit concerned with those guys. Cinnamon's the only one who could take this guy down. Let's see if we could pull it off like this. Unlikely.
Need to try again.
So you have 4 action points for every character, if you guys aren't aware. The sniper is 3 action points. The pistol is 1. This particular pistol. This is probably the easiest way of taking this guy down. Yep. Now, this little thing is going to come over here and try to murder us. So my plan is, let's let it come over here and murder us. Or not murder us, capture us, because they're mind controllers. And as it comes over, I want to overwatch it. Let's do a very wide but short cone so we have high accuracy. Boom. That's our best bet, I think, to take that down.
Here.
This guy's going to attack the crate and destroy it, which is going to give us less resources. So I think we're going to try to bait him into attacking us so we can save it.
Ready for action.
Best case, I get close. And then next turn we can kill him.
Running.
Hopefully there's no more mind fraggers out here. Huzzah! Crate saved. Face! Not so much. Very nice. Good job, Kiyosuke. That's using your noggin. I didn't expect that. Look how smart the AI is. It's making me look like a fool. All right. Now, for these things, you gotta be very careful. Notice how right here I'm hitting Imperial's head. As I come to the right, it's nonsensically going to the Mind Fragger. Now it's back to the head. Come over here, it's back on the Mind Fragger. So what I found is this is very, 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 very unreliable. So we'll shoot to the right. Shooting towards the front of the face seems to be the safest option, but it's not safe regardless. There we go. I've also found that those things, the first bullet won't penetrate. So you can shoot them with any kind of gun. It won't go through and kill the guy. Unless maybe the heavy gun can go through and kill the guy, but not the sniper rifle. I didn't expect Kiyosuke to get hit 3 times. I should have been probably a little further away than this, actually. The great thing now is, though, that we can absolutely execute this guy. Shoot him in the leg, because it has by far the least armor.
Enemy still active.
And we saved both the resources. Huzzah! In some ways, that was a sloppy start. But in other ways, Kiyosuke got a level, and we'll just have to blow a med kit to get him healed up. Not bad. So those skill points on the right, the Phoenix skill points, those are group skill points you can use on any character in the barracks. In fact, you know what? I'm going to go explain that. So 200 tech, 300 resources, or 300 materials, and 200 food. That was actually incredible. That's a really good result. Kiyosuke almost died, but he didn't actually die is the thing. So what I want to do here, for all of my assaults, I want to go high strength and decent speed, but 2 willpower is super critical. So 2 there, and then immediately all of assaults get dash. I'll lay out what my plans are for my specs right now, I suppose. So level 7 is the highest you can get. Between level 1 and level 7, you get 300 soldier points. And that's the most that you can spend using that soldier's points. However, you can use your communal Phoenix points, the Phoenix skill points. You'll get about maybe, it depends on how long you play. I think you'll get about 300 to maybe 500 points in a full campaign. So to figure out how much things cost, the first level of perks is 10. The second level is 15. This one is 50 because it always unlocks a new class. This one is 20, 25, 30. So basically they go up by 5. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, with this one being a bonus 50 if you want to unlock a new class. These special ones are kind of unique depending on what they roll. And for the actual stats, each point of strength costs half rounded down. So we have 14 strength. The next point will cost half of that, which is 7. And it doesn't round down because it's 7. That just goes all the way up to 30 like that. Same thing for speed. Each Each increase is half the total rounded down. Willpower is different in that each point of willpower is exactly 1 skill point. So 8 is 8, 9 is 9, 10 is 10, etc. And knowing all of that, you can plan out exactly what specs you're going to have. So for assaults, I plan on only taking dash. I will skip every other ability here. My assaults are going to be specifically scouts, more recon, and not so much killing machines. I'm going to give them huge amounts of strength, like all the way up to 30 or very close to it. I want 8 willpower because dash requires 4 willpower, and this way I can use it twice at the start of a game. That means I can basically do a full sprint move all the way across their full mobility range at the very start. And then later on, I won't be able to combo them unless I can ally with the Disciples of Anu, which I doubt we can do, and keep our reputation high with New Jericho. So what I would like to do is have assaults that become comboed with berserkers. However, later on we'll get berserkers and I'll combo them with assaults at the very least. And for my snipers, my plan is, once we get the experience, we're going to skip the first extreme focus. I don't see that it's that useful, honestly. It just doesn't combo well. I mean, you could do like a quick aim and then Overwatch, but every time I want to do a quick aim, I just want a quick aim. So who cares about going into Overwatch? So we're going to skip Overwatch 1. We'll go with the quick aim. I will take Master Marksman. It's ridiculously ridiculous. Like, snipers just never miss anything ever once you hit this level. We will probably skip Weak Spot. It's not bad, but it's not worth the 25 points, I feel. And Mark for Death is one of the most extremely powerful things in the game, so we'll grab that as well. The only thing I intend to take from the heavy class is actually Rage Burst. And I'm going to use that with the snipers, along with the sniper rifle, to just do obscene, absolutely obscene amounts of damage. This is 5 will, as is the Mark for Death. So I want to have 10 will on my snipers. And then after that, I want to have a bare minimum of 180 hit points. So we'll go strength up to 18 and a decent amount of speed. And that's it. Let's make sure to give Kiyosuke that med kit and another med kit. Since he's going to need them. And now we're off.
Research complete.
All right, we have unlocked the global mist monitoring system. So we can now see the mist actually spawned down here. Okay, that's good to know. My next scan is going to be down over here near India then. Ah, the Disciples of Anu. A mutated worm infestation is causing serious problems. Okay, when I played this in Backer Build 5, it was just worms and it was mind-bogglingly easy. Then when I played it in 1.0, there was a worm-spitting huge thing. So I think the smart move here is, let's delay doing that mission. The first time you contact any haven, you get a special mission for each one of them. Let's put them all off until we have a larger squad size with more gear. And let's research a new technology. Let's go for Phoenix Archives, because that is going to start us on the plot missions. So let me go over here for a second. One of the cool things about this game is how the world map is just almost entirely organic. So different places have different utility, like different strength. Some can defend themselves, some can't. Some of them will have guys you can recruit and different things you can trade. It's not like super amazing, but it does make the world feel more alive than, say, XCOM, which strategy map was, well, it was just kind of like on rails, basically. Another scavenging site. All right. This one will probably edit up a little bit more. Now I'm expecting Mind Fraggers and Arthrons. They may not necessarily be melee shield, but that's the expectation. Alright, first we need to heal, because Kiyosuke's almost dead. As expected, there are the Mind Fraggers. And they do have the Arthrons, and they are indeed melee. All right, very good. So one thing about this game is that things mutate based on what you deal damage to. So if you're easily killing something by shooting it repeatedly in the leg, they'll get like armored legs or whatnot. You can actually exploit that to your advantage. Let's say you didn't want these guys to have carapaces. Shoot them in the carapace, and eventually they'll mutate off.
Confirm. Enemy down.
Yep, I sure had a chance of defending that food. And also this thing that got destroyed somewhere that I didn't even see.
Holding position.
Whew, these heavies are so inaccurate, but if we shoot right in the one in the middle, we might hit one of them. Oh, yep! They're all gonna come over towards this one.
My eyes open.
We'll just let them come over.
Confirming target.
Better to shoot while they're moving.
Covering.
And that's why it's better to shoot while they're moving, because the shield is open. That one's dazed, so he can't move very far. Okay. One melee's not too bad. Hey, buddy. Feel completely confident that we'll kill this guy on a wide burst like that.
Holding position.
Confident enough that we'll leave him alone and dash. Obviously, that angle was horrific, so we need a much better shot. Woo! And he bleeds to death. Fantastic. We can save the resources.
All set.
Wow, is that a hard shot? Our only hope is to get lucky with Pyriel.
Moving to coordinates.
Not hit the box and blow up the shield. Hey, buddy! Flawless victory, except for being smacked once. Well, those are some rewards. 300 tech, 100 materials, and 100 food. Good, good, good. Now that I've got the extra materials, let's go to the base and throw the training facility in that I wanted from before. And right now, I think the smartest thing we can do is spend our materials manufacturing sniper gear. We don't quite have enough for all of it, but let's get rid of the helmets and then also the armor. Alright, let's move on. Here's our second Disciples of Anu haven. Sanhedrin. The mission that you get for these guys is not easy for 4 guys who are level 1. So we're going to wait again and postpone that for a little bit. Nice to know that they're here, though. Should also point out down on the bottom, you can see the blue bar is the hit points. So if it's completely gone, they're at full hit points. You can see here we're down quite a bit of hit points on Allie, maybe like 30%. The white bar is the fatigue. I think it's called stamina. Once it gets down to below half, maybe towards like a quarter, characters start losing action points on battles, which is really not ideal. They can be tired and they can be exhausted. So every once in a while, you got to fly back and just rest for a little bit. Not a huge deal right now. And then you can see the promotions down here. This triple chevron, if there's currently a character who needs a promotion, which there is with Cinnamon and Allie. Ooh, Cinnamon actually got plus 20% damage when using heavy weapons, which is very nice because I want her to eventually go heavy later on. For now, we don't really need it, though. Let's go strength so we don't instantly die somehow. And then we'll give a little bit more speed as well so we can move into position to take the snipe shots. Beautiful. And then Allie. What did Allie get for her specials? Heavy weapons, we're not going to use that. Expert healer, that's one of the best things possible for this class. 50% more hit points from healing. And shoot with 20%. It's only 15, though, so that's pretty strong for only 15%. The one thing I definitely want on all assaults is dash. I want dash with 2 willpower level ups, so we can dash. Dash takes 4 action points, so we can dash twice here at the start of every battle, and as many hit points as we can buy without using our Phoenix points. I will use them eventually, but not... I don't want to use them on these basic characters. I want to use them on Berserkers. Every one of my special points will go to Berserker hybrids. We found an exploration site. We'll search it. Materials, tech, food. Great. This will give us what we need to get the last queue here. So you have helmet, armor, and now legs. Since there's nothing else to do, we'll go heal up in base for a little bit.
Research complete.
Randall Symes was the last leader of the Phoenix Project. His great-grandfather had been there when it was founded, and he was there to witness its end. When we took back Phoenix Point, we found his notes. In his final days, as the world collapsed around him, he'd been working frantically to understand the Pandora virus. Somewhere in the complicated history of the project, in decades of missions and investigations, there had to be an answer. His notes were damaged, too many of the files corrupted. But perhaps, if we could retrace his steps, we could figure out where his journey had taken him and what the answers he had discovered would mean for us.
The Symes Retreat. We should investigate. Where is the Symes Retreat? You can click on over this thing here to show you. It's right over there in India. All right. New research. Haven recruitment. That's what we're looking for right now. That's the most important thing. This being the only thing we can see right now. I actually don't want to go over there because it's a quest. It's like one of the objective missions, and those are usually a little bit harder. So we'll hang out here until we can explore and build up a little bit more first.
Research complete.
Great. We can now recruit from havens. Let's queue up the next thing, probably being trading. Now, the cool thing is when you're zoomed out, you can't see these things. But when you zoom in, well, there's no havens that actually have someone to recruit. If they did, they would show up on the map when you zoom in. The same thing will happen with the trading resources once we do that. Our operatives set down near an old amusement park. One of our operatives points out this is precisely the sort of place best avoided in horror movies. Clear a path and search the fun fair, boys. 50 tech, 150 materials. The boys are tired. Fort Kahina. Ah, this is our first new Jericho meeting. So they're going to want us. I know exactly what this mission is, and I do not want to do it right now. It has a guy who can mind control, so hold off on that. Yeah, nobody here has any soldiers to recruit. That's really what I'm looking for. So now that we have all 3 of these factions contacted, if we click diplomacy, we can actually see everything that's going on, including the missions they're giving to us. Like, New Jericho wants us to go after the Disciples of Anu and target a factory. Over here, these guys want us to go after Synedrian and target energy generation. And these ones want us to go after New Jericho and target food production. None of those are really super interesting to me right now. Okay, the scan is done. Ah! We were ambushed, threat level high. Okay, then. These missions usually start with a handful of enemies. This one's by far the most dangerous. What does this guy have for a gun? He has Gauss Assault Rifle. That's actually a very nice gun. He also has Pain Chameleon, so he goes invisible when we deal damage to him, and there's nothing we have that can actually outright kill him. He can also spawn Mist, which is not fantastic, and he's got strong armor. That is 100% really bad for us. These guys, on the other hand, now have changed from melee characters to assault rifles. Wonderful. Well, at least now they have no armor, though.
Ready for action.
So here's the strategy, and this is very, very, very important. God, those rifles are terrifying. What's our shot over here? It's very good. I think we should go for it and see what happens and pay special attention to wherever it is this guy goes. I could try to take out the gun, but I don't think we've got enough damage to even come close to it. And then he'll just invisible anyway, and then we've got no damage on him. He's got 4 arms. If we disabled 3 of them, he wouldn't be able to use the gun, but that doesn't help us. All right, I suppose we disable his head, which will shut off his double perception ability. Okay. Where does he go? He fell down and he went inside. I am most concerned with that guy.
Comms online.
And here's how we can deal with him, I think. Let's activate the dash for 4 points. Come over here, get cover versus the other 2. And let's see if we can throw a grenade over here to take out the wall. There. I think that'll actually hit him and the wall. Boom. Well, there he is. I think we actually did damage to him, but it's really hard to see. Let's activate our second dash. We'll go flying over here like a maniac. Ah, there's another one. Oh, God, I didn't expect that. Okay, I want to go free aim. And I want to actually target here, because I know the guy's there. Oh, return fire! Okay. Now, I feel like we killed this guy, but I don't actually know if we did or not. This is extremely bad. Let's go dashing over here now with our willpower. We'll do the exact same thing and move right here with Kiyosuke. Yes, he is indeed dead. Fantastic. Now, since we moved here, with 2 dashes, we can actually fire twice at this guy, which we're going to need to do to kill him. Oh, never mind. Maybe we could just hit him right in the snout for all his health. Yes. And now he can't return fire. Whew. I'll actually take this shot. It's not going to be great, but it's not going to be terrible, and I don't think he'll have great odds at hitting us. We want to hide Cinnamon someplace behind cover. Whew.
I'm going.
Imperial 2. All right. My guess is they're going to move close, and his odds of hitting will be better. Like, let's say there. I'm pretty sure they're going to move up and try to shoot. Come on, buddy. Yep, I was right. Woo! Denied! Okay. Well, that was a sticky situation. Sticky, some might say. But we're fine.
That's a kill.
So for these ambush missions, you have to survive 3 turns. There's usually about that many enemies, and then after 3 turns, it's revealed where you need to go as more things show up. So we just end the turn. Maybe get more centrally located. It also makes some sense to come grab these will point locations, giving will point buffs to the rest of the squad within range. Yeah, +3 will points, +3 will points. Not that it matters. Okay. In come the reinforcements, and this is apparently where we need to go. So we'll do probably an all-out dash. More things could have spawned over here, but I doubt it.
On the double. Moving fast.
One of the best mods of XCOM 2 was made by Track 2, and it's called Evac All, to avoid all of this clicking. I hope it makes it into this game soon. Wow, that's a lot of levels. Unfortunately, ambushes are really rough. They take a long time to play through. Well, I guess they're not that long, but you have to micromanage everyone to get out, and you get nothing! Although you do get at least experience for fighting, so there's that. Now, our area scan has run out. It does make sense for me to come down here and initiate the next one. We can now trade with everyone, which is great. And I suppose it's time for the index. Also, we've got enough resources that I want to build an additional thing here. And fabrication is going okay for the time being. So my thinking is, why don't we put in a lab? Because there's a lot of autopsies to do in the very early game, and it takes a long time to get through them all. I can actually pass this one, so I can come down here and initiate the scan. Yeah, we don't want to do the mission. I just want to scan. Okay, let's zoom in. Now you can see, since we can trade, you can see what resources each place has. Unfortunately, not one of them has a single soldier, which is really what I'm looking for.
Construction complete. Research complete.
One of the last things Dr. Symes is working on before leaving the Phoenix Point was the Oniric Delirium Index, an attempt to quantify the unexplained mental influence of the Pandorans. So basically, everyone's having nightmares, and we don't know why. Next up, I suppose, let's go for New Jericho first. Then the Disciples of Anu for the 200 food, then Sanhedrin. Oh, another Sanhedrin base with materials. Ah, a New Jericho convoy. We're suddenly startled by a shout. He's a technician. He's waving his arms and laughing. Wow. So the great thing about this mission is that you actually get the guy with full armor. I could send him back to New Jericho, but no way. This is way too strong. Yoink! Wow, is that ridiculous. So not only did we get the character, but we get the character with all of the armor, which we couldn't even research. So we have the technical leg armor, we have the body armor, and the helmet. We picked up the Jericho Gauss PDW, as well as a New Jericho Gauss auto turret. Let's actually load that into the slot over here. Additional ammo, additional armor, or what is this called? Energy pack for the arms. And you can use these arms to do all sorts of cool things, like technical heal, repair, and also remove mind fraggers. And they can do a shock that dazes enemies. This is a fantastic, fantastic pickup. The guy has a little bit too much weight, though, unfortunately. So we're really not going to need that extra battery, nor are we going to need this extra ammo right now. And fitting as it is, Monk won the random roll for this. Electric Monk, some might say. 100% fantastic. So this is a class that I had anticipated unlocking when we allied with New Jericho. But hey, I'll take one right out of the gate, especially one with armor and hit points and all kinds of other stuff. For these guys, we're probably going to go for fast use, the ability to throw turrets pretty far, the ability to field a medic, and I'm going to use them more as all-around utility. I'll probably also pick up electric reinforcement, which gives everyone armor. to give armor buffs to nearby assaults and whatnot who charge into battle at the start. So Kiyosuke is level 3. He actually has Expert Healer right now. So I'm going to give him that. It's only 15. Otherwise, let's make sure he gets as many hit points as possible. And then 1 more speed. Cinnamon is going to have to go for more speed. And then also we'll pick up Quick Aim, dropping us down to 2. And then lastly, Piriel. He's literally only going to get hit points and some speed. Now, we finally made all of the gear, so we're actually going to turn on armor and everyone. I'm going to equip all of this stuff. So 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. So this is not weight 2. Speed 0, speed -1, speed 0. Whereas over here we had speed -2, -1, 0. So we went from -3 to -1. So that's 2 extra speed this way. Additionally, we have way more inventory space now as far as encumbrance, so we can grab a few more utility items. Like that. Let's queue up some more medkits while we're at it. So speaking of, if you have extra ammo in your inventory, you'll automatically reload with it after the mission. But if you don't, you get the pop-up saying your guy doesn't have enough ammo, and then you have to manually buy it, and it's kind of annoying. So I think the best way to handle it for minimum annoyance is figure out which gun you want and just build a stack of ammo, like 10 mags. Done. Try to finish off the right side before we move on to the left.
Research complete.
All right, there's New Jericho.
New Jericho was one man's vision, and everything depended on that one man. Before the war, Tobias West had been a billionaire, an elusive, controversial businessman who denounced war even as he profited from it. When the world fell, his empire began to rise. Some said he was a genius, a man of principle, dedicated to equality and merit, fighting to preserve the core of human freedom, our will. They said he had a plan, that he could lead us to victory. Others called him a dictator, a megalomaniac, fearful of infection and obsessed with purity. They said he was willing to do anything to win, no matter the cost. The Phoenix Project needed allies. New Jericho could help us turn the tide, but it all depended on one man.
That is going to be our ally. Or ally, rather. The true American, some might say. We've been ambushed again, but now we've got the technical, or technician, it's called. Wow. Blood-sucking arm. And an independent assault rifle. The good news, well, they have pain chameleon, so that's not good. Same deal over here, assault rifle. And this one guy down here is just straight melee. Pain chameleon's going to make this very difficult.
Ready for action.
Or is it? Let's stand here, quick aim with Cinnamon. It's only 2 will points for this, and it increases your aim. And it reduces the action points you use for the sniper rifle by 2, or by 1 rather, so you can actually fire it twice in a single turn. Our best bet here. The head will be the most damage. Actually, disabling the pain chameleon would be our best bet.
How does that taste?
There it is. Torso's disabled. He can no longer pain chameleon and disappear. Huzzah! We can do it again with the quick aim.
Taking aim.
I mean, there is a shot there, but it's so narrow because the pipes are in the way. My thinking is, why don't we try to blow up the pipes? Basically, use every cooldown on the first turn. There's no reason not to. Well, especially on these ambushes. If we could blow up those pipes, well, then we'll knock the guy down. Oh god. Well, oh well. We didn't blow the pipes up. That's the best grenade I've ever seen, though. Whew.
Preparing to fire.
Okay, that leaves Cinnamon free to take care of this dope.
Threat eliminated.
I'm on the move.
Another random enemy over here, but he's just melee, so not a big deal. And then lastly, let's use one of these turrets. Oh, you know what? I moved too far. I can't. Oh, there's another one! Oh no, boys! I think he had dash before he knew where we were. Which is perfect, because Pain Chameleon tootled. If I shoot the Pain Chameleon, even though it's already dead, they might lose it in a future adaptation.
Successful.
Okay, and he will bleed to death, so there's no reason to shoot over there. Instead, we could overwatch over here. Aw, poor guy's bleeding for 50. And now we just sit here and wait for the evac to spawn. So in the future, we're just going to cut out the evac retreats at the end, because this happens every time. 3 to 4 guys spawn, you kill them, and you wait a little bit. A bunch of guys spawn a million miles away on the opposite side of where you need to run to. So it's always basically completely safe to just run right to the evac, no problems. So no reason to show it every single time, I think. Well, the levels are pouring in, so that's good. It also helps to have extra grenades already manufactured. How many do we have? I think we actually have literally 0. If you have them automatically manufactured, they get re-equipped right away. So let's queue up a whole bunch. Okay, now let's look around. Does anyone have a single guy for recruitment? No. As far as I understand, the Phoenix bases are nowhere near each other. Maybe there's a decent chance sometimes they are, but I feel like there's a good chance there's another one down here. So I might, because it's a different continent, so I might do my next area scan over here and move in that direction. For now, though, let's go hit up these 8 million things.
Construction complete.
Taking a brief respite to get our stamina back up.
Research complete.
The disciples of Anu were a mystery. Where others saw devastation, they saw hope. Where others saw the end of the world, they saw a new beginning. Their leader called herself the Exalted, and she claimed to believe in humanity. She preached that the human soul was perfect, that the root of our problems was our insufficient evolution. The Pandora virus was a threat, but it was also an opportunity to change ourselves, to become better humans, to mutate. We knew that humanity needed to adapt. There was no other way to survive. The disciples offered a solution, but what was their end game? There was something beyond their hierarchies and their rituals. The Exalted had a secret.
Lots of secrets in this game. Let's level up. Ooh, Imperial has expert shooter, 20% extra accuracy. Okay, yoink. Didn't see that until now. I'm really worried about his ability to get in position to use said gun, said accuracy, so more mobility. The more ability we have to do quick aim, the better. So we'll go up to 8, so we can use it 4 times. That's 2 full turns in a row. I think we'll top out at 20 strength. And then my assaults are the most likely class to die, so I'm going to quadruple double down. and go almost exclusively hit points on them. Although we do need a little bit of mobility. 14's ridiculous. There we go. Ooh, and Monk got a level up too. So this class uses willpower a lot more than other classes, so it does make sense to put a fair bit of points into them. They only need enough strength to take a couple of grenades to the face, so I'll probably cap... However, they do need to carry quite a bit. So we'll allow them to be relatively slow, but go more willpower and more strength so they don't get two-shot and so they can carry more gear. We won't take the fast use right now because I really just want to make sure we survive in the beginning. Hit points are crucial early on.
The disciples of Anu Haven is under
Now, the thing about this is, they're currently being attacked. Attacking force points of 10, defending 12. If I do nothing, they will win. However, if I go there and help them, we'll get a reward. We'll get reputation and we'll get resources, both of which I'm very excited to get. So it does make sense to drop everything and come over here. I think we should jump in here right now. It's going to be probably not the most difficult thing in the world. This is what we're up against. Threat is medium. It's in the light, which is good. Attitude change on victory. The Haven leader will be plus 20. But the Disciples of Anu will be plus 10. No one will actually be mad at us, which is important, for helping them this early. So just straight bonus. And we get a huge, overwhelming amount of supplies and food for this. So in we go. You know what? I'm also going to grab ammo and additional med kits now that we've got all of our encumbrances up. And just duplicates of literally everything on all of the assaults. There we go. Much, much, much better. Much stronger squad. What do we got? The Disciples of Anu. 5 out of 5 civilians alive. So you can walk next to the civilians, and when you step next to them, they actually become controlled by you. And then you can move them to the evac if you want to, or if you want to be devious, you could actually run them up to take hits. Melee grenadiers. So the grenades just mean we need to spread out, and that's all there really is to this.
No time to lose.
Oh, hello.
Ready to engage.
That or just blow up the grenade. Ah, so they did lose the Pain Chameleon, and they've replaced it with a Regeneration, which is what I want them to have. That is fantastic. That's what you get for shooting them 3 times in the Pain Chameleon. They're like, that was painful. Screw that. On the plus note, we can now move 6 tiles with Imperial after changing all of our gear and giving ourselves some speed. Better than it was before, I suppose.
Double time.
Oh, wow. 2 more. But we did get control of this civilian, so we can run them away, sit to safety. I'm gonna set up a flank on those 2.
Advancing. Holding position.
This mist makes it very hard to see the enemies, and they can shoot through it no problem. I was worried about this civilian. Oh, and that's the reason I was worried about them, but they're strong. They're not XCOM civilians. Oh, God. Are they this strong, though? Nope. Poor civilian. Okay, so what this mist does is, I think, gives them will points, as long as they're in it. And we have to be basically next to them to see what's going on inside of it. I think you can blow it away with grenades, though.
Standing by.
Ooh. Ah, watch this. We can move over here. I didn't actually realize that used 3 act will points. All right, well, now we can use the shock. We can determine whether or not it's going to work beforehand. He's got 160 points. The way that shock works is he'll be dazed if the shock value is greater than the target's hit points. As I recall, the shock value is 180 on this. Shock is 180. His hit points is 160. So that is a guaranteed daze. That's all it does. So we didn't accomplish very much, but he'll have like 1 action point. So I don't think he'll be able to shoot next turn. And that buys us a whole lot of time to come over here and be like, hey guys. Wow. You want to see something amazing? I can't do it because we're standing in exactly the wrong tile. We'd actually hit ourselves if we did this. However, there might be a way to do it. Whoops. The way to do it is to move Periel here. And then... it's really difficult. We need to shoot through, hit that guy, but not hit ourselves. So I think... we want to target as left as possible. So this will go through the wall. Ready, guys? Boom! Did we do it? No. So we only blew off his arm. He still has his grenade. We did hit the wall, but we missed this guy, but we also missed ourselves. So some good, some bad. And 100% huge mess. Need to fall back with our sniper. Since they can see us and we can't see them.
Overwatching.
I want to get inside to shoot through this guy now. That would have been really cool if that did work, but it actually literally could have shot through him, through the wall, hit that guy, and then missed. It was a very difficult shot to line up, but that's the sort of insanely cool thing you can do in this game. Speaking of, I don't like the fact that this guy has a launcher arm. Speaking of insanely cool things.
Gotta keep on pushing. Shot. Hostile.
Well, guess there was no reason to daze. Oh! Shot his grenade arm off as he flew in. Which, by the way, was why I came in this building, because they can't launch grenades inside. Wow. That was really cool. So what we're going to do here is actually deploy the turret. And the turret's not going to have a huge amount of value, so we'll have to move some other place, like over here, at an angle. Later on, it'll be much cheaper to deploy these turrets, and we can use the arms to throw them when we take the perks for it.
5 by 5.
Oh, okay. This is guaranteed double quick aim death.
Moving to coordinates.
The safest place is just hiding in a cubby. Ooh, I almost might have shot Puriel there. Very dangerous. Let's move Puriel out. After we quick action into... where's the cover? Looks like we're going to have to go right here. I'm not sure if we'll see specifically, but we'll give it a whirl. We will be standing in the open. Okay, yeah, we actually can't see the guy. Never mind. I don't like this at all since we can't see the guy. And I won't be able to kill this one with a one shot. Imperial can take hits, we can't, so move up.
Ready to fire.
Hello! I was really expecting to see this guy. In theory, I could throw a grenade and then shoot, but I don't remember what he was, and he can shoot back and actually kill us if he has a shotgun. I don't think he has a shotgun, but just in case. That's how we do it.
Holding position.
Okay, yeah, he was just a melee guy the whole time. Easy game. Well, we lost one civilian, but it would have been very, very difficult to prevent that unless we just had more mobility points. That is a huge, outstanding success. The first initiation. Mysterious being known as the Apostle to the Once-Born, a servant of the Exalted, has passed by our base, leaving the following message. What is the nature of a human being? Can we change? Is the fault in our souls where it may never be reached, or is it in these broken bodies of ours? Perhaps the Phoenix Project can be a vessel of change. It is not up to this humble apostle to make such a decision, but I wish you well. May your actions please the keeper of the threshold. He will seek you out when you have shown your worth. It looks like we've started working our way up the hierarchy of the disciples. So if we come over here and look at them, the disciples are actually at 20%. Once you hit 24%, they give you a mission. You succeed on that mission, and they share all of their havens in the world with you. That is 50 sites that I don't have to scan. I want to do that for all three factions, and that's going to be something like almost 125 plus different regions we don't have to scan. And we'll be able to see where they are, how they're doing, what's going on, where we need to go. It'll enable us to fly anywhere to any continent that we want, whenever we want to. So that'll be absolutely ginormous. There's an additional mission at 49%, and if you do that mission, they will actually share all of their research with you. But it's going to be pretty difficult to get multiple factions up to 49%, I believe. Oh, and wouldn't you know what we got down here? A Pandoran nest! All right, I see that as an opportunity. But first, let's finish this up. Exploration site. An abandoned field hospital. We search it, we lose some stamina, but we gain 150 materials, tech, and food. Beautiful. So one thing I should point out is that you have these quests here to destroy Pandoran colonies. The first one is really meant, it's unlocked once you do a nest. When 3 nests are made, they combine into a layer, and then you get another research that's destroy a layer. And when 3 layers combine, you get a citadel, then you have another research, which is to destroy a citadel. I highly recommend doing that in order, and the second you see it, and not putting it off, because it can get very difficult. Like, I actually could not find... I destroyed a citadel, and I couldn't find a lair in one of my test campaigns. Let's look around the world and see what's going on. So down here in Africa, we have a mist. In Southeastern Asia, we have a mist. And that's it. The Americas are fine. So we only get 2 out of the gate then. Okay. Probably want to go to Africa next. I was talking about coming down here before, but yeah, I think we should expand to Africa. I'm sure there's another Phoenix base somewhere out there. I'd like to be on the front lines of the issues. Anyways, right now is a great time to hit up the mist. Let's fly back, gather our stamina, heal up a little bit.
Research complete.
And listen to this.
Sanhedrin was built on a dream. A world without hierarchies, without leaders, where human beings could embrace the potential of technology without its destructive side effects. The radicals of the old world had been proven right. The status quo could not sustain itself. But what now? What was the next step? Some argued for coexistence with the Pandoran ecosystem, hoping for a peaceful solution. Others advocated putting humanity before nature and claiming the planet for themselves. Trusting in the safety of their havens, the people of Sanhedrin argued about the best way forward. But the Pandora virus had little interest in their arguments, and its power was still growing.
Whew, all right. So we'll stay here for just a second, then we're off to the lair, I believe. Zoom in and look around. Unfortunately, there's no more additional soldiers, just nowhere. I would really, really like to get one. In the meantime, let's queue up the Arthron, I suppose. We'll just queue everything up in case I forget about it for the future. So I know we're going to eventually... I don't want the production queue to end up doing nothing. And I know we're eventually going to need more sniper gear. So we'll queue up at least one of all three. And I assume we're going to have another sniper, so we'll queue up another Firebird. I doubt we'll get another one of a different kind before then, so that seems reasonable. And that's it. Let's heal up here for just a second. Okay. Good, all stamina is taken care of. We're off to the nest. Boom! This is the perfect place to end the episode. It's also a great place to start the next one. So that is exactly what we'll do. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please consider hitting the like button. It helps out an enormous amount on the first episode of a new series. Also, if you're new to the channel and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. There's actually a lot of really cool stuff coming up in this campaign. Hilarious, ridiculous stuff. But anyway, that's for the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Well, this unfortunately doesn't give us much option. However, I have an idea. Let's move Imperial over here, away from this flammable gas. Then we'll take this nice big weapon that can shoot right through things, and we'll be like, hey guys!